Hi everyone, this is Marius and welcome back to the channel. As you probably know by now, I recently purchased a 2011 BMW. It's a 3 Series and the model is E90. For the most part, the car works really well, except I do have some rough idling, so I've been scratching my head trying to figure it out. And I put this product, BimmerTrace, I put it together to help me investigate this exact issue and more. Alright, let's dive into it. I'll show you something really cool. Let's go straight to performance. I just want to show you something here. So you will probably see here a CCV valve and it says replace. Now, it's not very clear why, but I'll explain. I'll do my best to explain. So you see here, you have a voltage from the sensor. Essentially what this is the sensor of pressure in the intake. And so the max is 0.8 volts and I'm averaging 0.97 volts. So let's go back to the sensor here in the data explorer. And let's look for the map voltage. Okay, so we saw that the map voltage is averaging high at 0.97. Let's dive into it. This is the graph over the course of the ride. We see the voltages have spikes. I mean, it looks like kind of like a river, and so those are down spikes here. I put the markers on them. I just wanted to correlate and show you that whenever that down spike happens, it's under acceleration. So this means that basically the pressure in the intake changes. And that's because there's a lot more air going into the intake when you accelerate, which is normal. And so way this works is that when you have a vacuum leak, in fact, what this points to is a vacuum leak, right? And the culprit right now is the CCV valve. That's what I'm suspecting. Or it could be a leak through the hoses. I'm not so sure. But basically, essentially, what happens here, at idle, the voltage should be something like 0.7 volt, and it should slightly increase when you accelerate, but it should definitely not be 0.9. That suggests a leak. There's more unmetered air going in intake than it should be, basically. And so that's the map. And now you have the MAF. The MAF is the measurement of how much air goes into your intake. Let's say you at idle, let's say you do 17 kilograms per hour air. If you have a vacuum leak, that easily adds anywhere from 2 to 5 kilogram per hour air. So that unmetered air right there is really what's causing the voltage to spike on the map. And so this is really the simple correlation to detect that you have a vacuum leak, basically. Now, what happens? Why do you want the voltage to be lower? Is so that you have a sustained vacuum at lower pressure. So think about this. The closer it is to 1 volt, the closer it is for the intake to be to the atmosphere level of outside. Now, the engine, the way it works, it creates a vacuum where the pressure is lower than the outside, usually anywhere from 50 to 30% lower. So a 0.7 volt would indicate a 30% lower atmospheric pressure than the outside. And this is the math. This is how it works. All right, and then you will see something here which also proves the point. This is by cylinder, so from cylinder 1 to 6, you have a unit called RMS. This indicates the roughness of each cylinder or how uneven it is. Now, whenever a cylinder is uneven for whatever reason, the computer will try to compensate. So if you don't have enough fuel, it'll just pump more fuel. If you don't have enough air, it'll just try to pump more air. But essentially what this means here, my engine runs lean. And so it runs lean until up to 1600. After that, it becomes much more smoother, as you can see here and here. And why is this happening? The simple explanation is that this vacuum leak, it becomes insignificant because the moment you accelerate, let's say past 2500, your kilogram per hour air that goes into the intake is going to be over 100, perhaps over 200. It's going to be in the hundreds, right? And so that's going to basically your leak, which let's say it's going to be 5 kilogram per hour air, that leak is quite insignificant at that volume. And so this is the physics behind why it's not as important when you accelerate, why you don't feel that your engine is rough in this particular case. All right, anyways, I know it's very technical. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments down below. And until next time, thanks for tuning in, and I hope this was useful, and I'll see you next time.